I want to say that was my most funnest year. I'm not gonna lie. Went to strip club, spent 30,000, woke up the next day, got 30,000 back. I was spending about 15 to 20,000 a month for 12 months straight. It was ridiculous. It was insane.
How are you getting money from the banks off the books?
They were just, hey, I'm gonna show you how to create a person that doesn't exist. We're just gonna go apply for Walmart, Synchrony cards, open a bank account and apply for a credit card, and they're gonna get us approved off a basic file that we create. My worst day was $1,000. My best day was 7 to 10 grand, and then that's where it all evolved. Strippers are the best clients. I'd be asking them, does your doctor accept care credit? He does? Cool. It got ugly for me. I had a scare moment. Like I said, I was doing so much I just felt invincible. I already bought 3 cars from this dealership, bought another one, said, I'm gonna go back. I just got too cocky. It was the dumbest. I already knew the rights and the wrongs, but I just felt like, okay, bro. I would swipe with him. I used to get 20, 30, 40,000. Got greedy. They took his care credit account away.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Delete Kings podcast. I go by the name Delete King 850, and I got my boy here with me.
You already know Delete King CVO.
Yeah, man. So this is one of them podcasts where it's like, you know how you see the disclaimer, like the views and expression of the
Please
guest
be advised.
is not, the opinions and what's in. This is not financial advice. Yo, we're about to go on the other side, the underworld, the underground,
The dark side.
of credit right now. It's gonna be an interesting episode. I've been waiting for an episode like this, right? So we know some people,
We know
they
a lot of
do
people.
they do
We know
things a
people.
little bit different. And I look up. I don't want to say I look up to. Let me be careful with my words. I gotta be really careful with my words.
Look
on
up
this
to him
podcast.
is crazy, but
Look
it's
up
like
to him is crazy, but when niggas be iced out on the gram,
it's a slight admiration.
it's respect. I
There you go.
respect it. You know what I'm saying? I watch the game from a distance. I be wondering, yo, how they be doing that? That guy's not smarter than me, but he knows something that I don't. I respect you guys. Salute these people, man. I'm not a hater. I don't be pocket watching, but when people do their thing,
Yeah.
whether it's the SBA young boys or
That boy said
look, we from Chicago.
SBA
You
young
know what I mean?
boys.
Like a lot of people, they know a lot of plays. Right?
Yeah. With the city
Hopefully
of
this thing
plays.
stays on.
Oh.
It's funny. I should just leave it on no signal for this joint because this episode right here, you're gonna hear about some shit. This is free bands. I don't even know how to preface this. I don't even know how to introduce this, right? But our next guest, he gonna introduce himself, but he's probably not gonna introduce himself.
We gonna call it.
CBO, what's going on? What's gonna help me out here, bro?
Hey man, we gonna introduce my boy. He, one of the biggest scammers out of Chicago. All crazy. Nah, man. Obviously, face covered for a reason, identity covered for a reason, because my man's really making plays out here. Really, when you want doing it from the dark side, literally Dark Vader. You know what I'm saying? We not gonna say his name. We not gonna disclose none of the information, but we gonna talk that good shit about that boost.
Thank you.
Not the boost, but that boost is on
Because
that side.
I've been so curious. Every time I see him winning, I'm just curious. I respect the game. I'm curious. So I got to know, bro, like, how would you describe what you do to get it how you get it? You know what I'm saying? We could take it all the way back.
Oh, look at that. No signal, just in
signal.
time.
I
Just
feel
in
like
time. No signal.
We probably going to leave it like that.
Right? We dark. It's dark right now.
Right, it's
we
dark
just
right
we
now.
just went to the dark
Underground.
web. Let's get ready. Let's get into it.
What is your specialty, man? Where's your skill set like at, man?
I mean, to be honest, it's kind of like almost being into what's trending, or when you find your own lane of what works and then stick into that, right? Because things have changed, things evolve, barricades happen, and then you have to reset and kind of find a new lane or readjust your method or your science to be able to make these things happen.
For sure. When you say these things, man, you a person that get to it. You get to the bag somehow, man. What's the most you've made or played with? Because we had a conversation prior to it, but it's like you touched, like, what type of money we talking here, man?
Man, it's been various times. I want to say My best run was probably working with a few people, but I probably have made maybe close to 1 million, maybe like 700,000 to be exact, all in a year, off the books. This is straight to the pocket. You know, whoever I had involved in the play, we broke bread, and then that's basically it.
How?
Uh, I'm not gonna lie, shit. It's just a lot of, I guess you could say, just kind of creating the proper documents to whatever was being happened at the time, or whatever the play was at the time, whether it was getting credit or getting money from loans, banks.
So,
Sheesh.
so just waxing their
So now,
ass.
so y'all kind of getting what's going on because I know y'all still wondering. So pretty much, I'm always curious, right? I don't know how to scam. I don't know how to use CPNs and things of that nature
and run off the
and run off on the
banks
bank.
and-
I don't. I've always wondered how do these people get away with it.
So,
So, you know what I'm saying? We invited somebody who knows a little bit more about that world because for education purposes, you
Is
know what I'm saying?
everything.
Entertainment purposes. I'm about this education for me. You know what I mean? Not that I already know how to do what I do. I don't need to even go to the dark side.
Right, we know how to get
But just
800
to
credit
appease my
scores.
curiosity, what's going on? How are you getting money from the banks off the books?
so I mean, right?
What's step one, number one, and how do you even get into it? Like,
So I want to say almost 10 years ago, someone put me onto it, and they were just doing low level. They were just, hey, I'm going to show you how to create a person that doesn't exist, and we're just going to go apply for Walmart. We're going to apply for some Synchrony cards. We're going to open a bank account and apply for a credit card, and they're going to get us approved off a basic file that we create. That's kind of how it all started. I was big on credit or trying to learn it, so I took the little bit of knowledge that I knew on the positive side and then integrated it with the other side of the dark side that they were introducing me to, and then that's where it all evolved. I was struggling at the time, so right, I tried to get it the right way for so long that once I tried it a little bit the other way, it was like boom, right? When money just comes and you're trying to take care of shit, it's like survival. It's kind of hard to just break away from that.
did you have a job back then?
I did. I had a job, and
Was it hard to make ends meet with the job?
it was very hard, right? You see everybody else successful, driving the cars they like, buying the jewelry they like, the clothes they like, and you want to be like that, you want to do that, but on the income that you're getting, it's just not happening.
Got you. So somebody introduces you to a method
Correct.
for you to just have a little bit more
Yep.
than what your job is providing. And they tell you, I'm assuming from what I'm hearing, you're creating a profile number, like a credit profile number. Is that where it starts or it starts somewhere
Correct.
else?
That's exactly where it started. So what happened was is they were just like, hey, or here, actually, let's just backpedal a little bit. So what happened is I had a few credit cards. They were looking for trade lines, and they were like, hey, I could introduce you to a way where you can use those trade lines to make money. I had a Capital One at the time, and they were just like, hey, I'll pay you $400 a head that you add to the Capital One card. So I was able to add 3 people, and then boom, that was 4 by the 3, and that was what I made that first month.
1,200 your first month.
Correct.
Sheesh.
So that was just purely off selling trade lines, which is legal. But I saw them making way more money than that, and I was asking those questions. And at first, they kind of weren't allowing me in, but after a while of knowing each other and stuff like that, they're like, "Hey, you know what? Like, I feel like I could trust you, and so this is what I'm doing." What he was doing was basically using the trade line to create Ghost, which is a credit privacy number, which is the CPN, right? He was basically creating these fake people that look like real people to the banks and everybody, and that's how he was acquiring credit.
So, Got it. So are these like people that are deceased, or it's
Right,
like from
I was
scratch.
about
People
to
are
ask
not
that,
born
like,
yet.
Are they
So-
just making up names, or is it real people, or are they
How do you even
dead?
do this?
I'm gonna make
So-
George Washington.
It's crazy. If you want to be George Washington, you can.
I can be whoever the fuck I want to be.
You can
Clark
be whoever
Kent.
you want to be. It was really crazy because, it's literally everything from scratch. You definitely had to make sure that no one was attached to this number, and then
right.
Is there a website to do that to like just make sure it checks out? It's clean. It's a clean.
so a lot of people would try to use like validation websites and stuff like that to see if anyone is attached to it or if anyone's deceased to it. You don't want any of those because then obviously, right, like those wouldn't work. They wouldn't let you acquire any kind of like applications wouldn't go through and stuff like that. Everything would get denied because it's not adding up to the name or the information that's on the file.
Okay, because I'm assuming that could be a version of identity theft if you are using
Cause it's
stuff that's linked to
look,
real
there's
people.
nine digits, right? 9 digits.
Three, two in the middle, three
Yeah.
at the end.
So it's like, out of how many people are in America, how many possible digits?
Almost 400,000 with all the immigrants or
But
whatever.
it's-
No,
so, like-
400 million or whatever.
Yeah.
but
So how many how many numbers is that? 400, 3, 6, 9. That's more than 9 digits. So what is the possible like?
they just do the
outcome.
calc because I know the middle numbers have to do with the state, right?
Correct.
Oh,
I need a
you
crash
need-
course on how to create
Okay,
a CPN,
so-
so we can
like,
clip this up.
What?
Alright.
We need a crash course.
Whoa, whoa.
Okay.
So I didn't know that.
So it's really crazy. So the first 3 digits will give you the state. The next 2 digits will also help kind of like classify
Is it the generation? Like,
correct like the age group or the year, and then the final 4 honestly when you make a CPN, the final 4 you kind of like mix in or take a good wild guess in a sense.
So like the final
for
4
example,
numbers are
right,
almost like
if-
dummy numbers. You don't really
Correct.
need them.
correct. So if I was creating Florida, I would start with 268. If you're doing Illinois, you would start with I think it's in the range of 331 or 341, 351,
Yeah.
356. All those are Illinois.
I know mine.
Start with a 3, right?
Right. Mine start with a 3.
To be honest, the crazy part about all this is that anybody's information can get bought on the internet. So it doesn't matter how many times everyone's just like, try to refrain from like sharing information or anything. But if someone has your name and birthday, they can instantly just buy your social off the internet, which is so scary.
They just need your name and birthday.
That's all they need.
Shit, I'm sure they got my social all through this bitch for real. Because you got to think about it. How many data breaches have there been? You know, like you got the Equifax, you got the Marriott, you got the big one that recently just happened with billions of people. Our information was on there. So, shit, I feel like that's a win on the credit side because all that shit gone, all that shit got to get resolved. You know what I'm saying? All that shit.
All right, so you understand the formula, but like, where would you go to create this? It's like, so the people just showed you. Is it the dark web where you created or what? Because we know about the verification websites, but like,
To be honest, it's literally you come up with the number and you try the validation sites to make sure that no one is attached to it. As long as you find out no one is attached to it, you can attach whatever name you want, whatever birthday you want.
So I guess that is the question. Like, okay, so if no one's attached to it, I got this number, I got this 9-digit number here. No one's attached to it. How do I attach the name to it? How do I like claim it now? How do I?
I'm not gonna lie, you guys deal with credit. You guys do this already on a daily basis.
so I know you gotta add the AUs.
So here, I'll give you a quick quiz. So if you have the number, what you would do is called tri-merging. Tri-merging, I don't know if you guys heard that term, but basically when you're tri-merging, you're basically gonna run regular credit applications. So
You start with the self, the chime, the
no, you would just start with major banks.
you
would
start with the major
Yeah,
banks.
correct. It is kind of shitty because once you get the file established, what happens is yes, you'll have an inquiry on the report, of course, but that's a good thing because what happens is these banks will now start creating this kind of credit profile based on you as a person and all this information that you fed it. even though it's not a real person.
But they're gonna do a background check, so they're gonna be like, before you go to the bank, they're gonna run the soft inquiry just for the verification of your identity. And like, how do they, when they run it, how do you saying you're over 18-year-old already? Like, two.
'Cause when you merge this file, you're merging the birthday, so that's getting stamped on there as well.
Okay. Sheesh. Okay. So you get the number, you make sure nobody else is using it, and then all I know is you sort of start adding. You don't add AUs before you hit the bank account, or you just go straight to the bank account.
So what you do is you basically want to make sure you have a good number, you have a clean number, and then you're gonna merge. Once you merge, you'll be able to pull the credit report, and it'll be like.
And that's the tri-merge you're talking about.
Correct. After you try merge, you're gonna pull the report and you're gonna look at it, and it's gonna be like let's say-
like a blank report.
correct. Like when you were 18 years old and you had no credit, all you saw was maybe unable to verify identity, or you saw your name with your address
NAs
and
and
your
zeros
year, and
or-
everything was 0 or NA.
And then from there, that's when you can go
Correct.
apply
And then
or
once you see that,
trade.
right? For example, let's say you already see your information on TransUnion. That's when you know you're green. Basically, you can go ahead and add an AU to a major trade line, which will now produce you a score. Once you have a score, you have basically a working number. But you know, if you have a credit card for a trade line that has 10 years of history, now you have 10 years of history on a credit report, which then boom.
So fast forward to the point where it gets valuable, because it's like you ended up with almost $1 million by this process, leveraging these
Numbers.
numbers and CPN. But like, talk about that first one, like the very first thing where, oh, it's real, it's up. It's like,
Man, it took a long time before I got there, right? Like I've been at it for a long time. Honestly, once it hit, it was like, oh shit. Like it leveled the game up for me, but I also like to say that, you know, like everything that we were doing, we made sure we weren't taking from anybody, right? The banks are insured, so we just did it in that route where it's like there's no victim in the process, no one's being hurt in the process. That's like the people that I was working, that's just our moral. Like we weren't making sure we were causing harm to anybody.
Yeah, because I know a lot of motherfuckers that's especially in Chicago. Well, they'll drop a check in your account. They'll be like, man, hey, bring me a bank, and they'll drop a phony check in there, and they'll get the check, and then 2 days later, the bank called, and their check is their account's negative, and they're like, well, you owe us this money, la la la. Like
they already gave that person-
hurting. Yeah, exactly. They already gave that person they cut, and so they actually hurting these people. You saying, nah, I don't want to hurt nobody. I'm gonna fuck over these banks because they got in there insured.
money,
They
just-
print money all the fucking time. It's
Correct.
all this and there. So no one's being hurt, but the people who create the shit.
Correct. So basically, we're creating this ghost, right? And then we're making sure that the profile looks solid so that when the bank pulls it, they're like, oh shit, okay, this is a real person. They have great credit. You know, I want them to basically owe us in a sense.
Okay.
so you don't. One thing I learned, because I actually downloaded this ebook where this guy was teaching about how to really build this stuff up.
Yeah.
And so he was mentioning like you need something about, you just need like data points. You need it's like these breadcrumbs to actually build. It's called public records.
Yes. You want to.
So I didn't want to skip over that.
You're good. Yep. So to be honest with you, when I was going crazy, I never did public records. I don't know why other people were like, if you don't have public records, you can't succeed. I think that was just a lie. I think that's something now that in this time and place you do need now. But I feel like if you have a clean number and a solid, you should be good.
Okay. So like, how did you get, like the first one, was it like 10K? And what was it? And what nature of funding did you actually get? So from the moment you got introduced to the game, how long did it take until you were able to, outside of selling the AUs for 1,200, like when did you see your first big bag, and what was that from in the first place?
Literally, after I got put onto it, I want to say literally like the next week I was good.
Where did the source of the funds come from, and how much was it? You said
So my first start was, so they were doing little petty credit cards and getting little 300 or 1,000, and then hey, we just gotta spend it or figure out how to convert to cash. At the time, right? I was around people that worked in wireless, and I was just like, bro, we can get phones if we got A1 credit. These phones are selling for $1,900 a phone. Why don't we just get phones? Why are we doing all this other shit? Um, but also, I will say, I think the reason why we kind of skipped over phones too is because, I'm not gonna lie, someone else turned us over to what was called auto conversions. So at the time, we were doing auto loan conversions, and we had someone who had a dealership who was basically um, finding, damaged vehicles with VINs and basically creating up all the paperwork for the bank to give us the loan to get approved. And they were taking 30% and we were getting the rest.
So he'll find a video. He'll find a vehicle that's essentially lemon or totaled, but he'll redo the Carfax. Is that I'm assuming?
No,
Honestly,
he would do the document again because he was a dealer. So
Correct.
he was doing the document like if he owned the car and it was ready to be sold.
correct.
And
The bank has to appraise it and put a lien on it. So
So-
it needs a clean Carfax, right?
Honestly,
Hello.
right, that's where he made his 30%. We just knew he had a dealership and he was making the loan paperwork look good, and the banks were buying and we were getting approved.
Are these major banks or just like subprime, lower no name
Credit unions, major banks. I also want to say this was 2016, 2017.
So he was kind of in on it, low key.
Correct. Yeah, he was in on it. He knew what was going on.
So you're at the dealership every week. You're literally
So he was like, when you're on like on the south side or on like Cicerone,
Cicerone.
you see all those dealerships and stuff like that.
yeah,
It was
buy here,
some-
pay here.
Correct. In-house financing.
Right.
Blah blah. Yeah, that it was one of those.
So the process is you walk into the dealership. You're supposed to be buying a car.
To be honest, we weren't even walking in there since he was in on it. It was just kind of like he was the owner. We were just
You're just like, hey, just,
We were just-
run that paperwork.
we were like, hey, we got a file. We would give him ID, social, pay stub, give him all clean copies of everything, and basically he would submit it.
Sheesh.
So now with this point with the CPNs, because I know you can say, so when you're doing it before, we're kind of stepping back a little bit. For the merger, you could put whatever name technically, right? Put
Yeah, you
whatever
can be
name.
wherever you want.
So now, when you're doing this, or you're getting someone a file, or you're trying to get money now, obviously sometimes unless you have someone that you know what I'm saying, you locked in with, you might need a body, an actual person,
Correct.
to show face or show something.
Correct.
So what is your steps, or how do you take care of that when that situation arises?
Like you got to go in branch.
Yeah, I need
I've
to
done it.
see this person.
I've done it. It's nerve-wracking, right? Because you never know when that time's gonna come, when your luck's gonna run out. But
That's the adrenaline rush. That's what you're
yeah,
doing.
that's honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I got away with it for a long time, and you do feel invincible. I felt invincible. My luck did run out eventually, but the crazy part was it's just you come in. It's called social engineering, man. You got to know how to have that good conversation. You know how to sell the story. You got to be a people person. You can't walk in and be nervous. You can't walk in and be like, what do you think? What should I do? What do you? Nah, you got to be in there confident. Hey, I saw you had this car. I wanted to get this car. I already have copies of my pay stub, social ID, everything. If you need to see a physical copy, I have it in my wallet. There's this car in particular that I was looking for. Sometimes we walk in with a pre-approval. Sometimes, hey, I want to see what you can give me approved for, see if you can beat this deal that I got or a deal that I got somewhere else, right? It's just basically making it seem real.
Right. So I've seen videos like TikToks or something like that. People posted like, man, this guy tried to get a scat pack with a CPN and just get arrested. Like, what triggers that? Is that like, if it was attached to a dead body or someone that was attached to somebody? Like, what triggers those like red factors, those hits where it's like, oh, we gotta call police. He's gonna scam us. Like, what will be those triggers you say?
I want to say a lot of the time those are either people built bad CPNs where they didn't validate the number and it is tied to somebody else, or the ID they use is tied to somebody else, or it's a CPN. It was a good number, but they didn't build the file right or good enough for the bank to know that, right? These banks have access to the actual social security system where they could validate the socials and stuff like that. Or I don't know what the document or code is called, but where basically the bank asks you, hey, can you sign this document so that we can request from, the social security office to validate this social, stuff like that. So I think the reason why these people get caught is because it's either a bad number, they didn't build enough public record and background and kind of like fluff the file enough for it to look good for the bank
They
to
just
just to
probably
see.
did it and was like, oh, I'm gonna go get some shit.
Yeah, so basically they probably created the number, added a trade line. That shit was probably just added 1, 2, 3 days ago. And they went straight to the dealership, tried it, and got.
Well,
Do you think things got harder in 2025? Or like, what's the game nowadays compared to what it used to be?
man, 2025 just started. What you talking about?
I mean, yeah, I think the game has evolved from when I started. It's definitely was way easier when I was doing. Like I said, I wasn't doing public record, and I was really getting good. But I will say that yeah, it's gotten difficult. Um, I don't want to say it's gotten harder. When I say difficult, I feel like it's an in between, right? Because I I think of it as like a science. If you got a science and a rhythm and a method going, I feel like if you keep repeating it, it's gonna work. That's kind of like the move that I had before. I would create a blueprint. I would try many different ways, and when I found success with one, I kind of just kept doing that same process, those same steps. The same way I merged the file the first time, I document everything and then try a bunch. And if this didn't work and that one did, then I would repeat the same process exactly the same I did the first file, and I would always get good.
Boom. So you had results. You repeated your results, and the results speak for itself.
You can do this. You can essentially do this every day. It's like wake up as a new person, right? And then you're saying the lower level people, they're just getting these store cards from Walmart. This low level activity, right? The middle tier, they're getting phones that are worth $1,000 a pop, right? And then they're gonna have to find a way to sell those phones on Facebook Marketplace or whatever.
wherever. I'm
Sell
pretty
To
them
be
sure
in
they
honest
get
India,
with
them all.
you,
China. What?
there's people out here or in your state that are buying the phone for damn near retail or $300-400 less. That'll send it overseas and sell it for twice the amount.
So you can. What's the most one person can get? Like 6 phones at a time or something, or what?
I would do 7 phones at AT&T, 7 Verizon, and 4 at T-Mobile.
Damn.
So if you
And
do
that's each-
about
and that's each
900 to
profile?
1,000 a phone, that's one file.
Are you? Oh, wait.
That's
Say that.
one
Say that one more
person.
time. Say that one more
Wait.
time.
That's one person. One person would be 7 AT&T, 7 Verizon, 4 T-Mobile, and you do 1,000 on each.
Damn.
1,000. That's 20. Wait. So if you can get a one CPN, pretty much every day, you can have potentially 18 to 20 phones that's worth $20,000.
So my worst day was $1,000. My best day was 7 to 10 grand.
Sheesh. Okay, so that's the middle tier, and then you got the high tier where you just locked in with the dealerships.
Yeah.
Dealerships or credit
To
cards,
be honest,
probably.
it's crazy. I used to have a doctor. I used to get Synchrony care credit. I used to get 20, 30, 40,000, and I would swipe with him and make 3 payments, and I would get cashed out, and he would take 30%. He fucked me over, got greedy, and they took his care credit account away. I don't know if he ever got arrested or anything, but I think they kind of caught on.
Ah, snap. So you just walk in, and how often can you walk in to do business with the same doctor though, before it gets really like?
Man, I'm
Shit.
telling you, it's crazy. Once you get locked in with the doctor and you kind of really tell him what it is, I wasn't walking in. I would
It just
I would either
happen.
just mail him the card or give him the numbers and the account, and he would basically swipe it and put whatever.
So it's
he
like a
did.
weekly thing.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Right? Hey, I'm sick as fuck, Doc. Check my posts every week. Fuck you talking about?
I mean, really, a lot of it was just care credit, right? So care credit, it could be multiple things, right?
yeah, care credit is
Bro,
just
get
anything-
into it, bro. People
used
want to
to
know.
call
What
it-
the people want to
man.
know, bro?
I ain't gonna lie, I love mommy makeovers. That was my thing. I would tell them I'm applying for a mommy makeover, and boom.
You get a BBL?
Even
Exactly,
BBL Drizzy.
bro. Best clients for care credit, strippers.
Oh yeah.
Strippers are the best clients because they be like, I'd be asking them, does your doctor accept care credit? Whoever was gonna do your whether it be your titties, your ass, whatever you're getting done, does he accept care credit? He does. Cool. And I used to just finesse it. To be honest, I used to just sell it as like I was being the trick. I'd be like, man, you know I got you.
I'll put some
I'll,
titties
I'll,
on you.
I'd be like, man,
That's
just
what he said.
give me 60%. I'll pay the rest for you. You feel me? And I'll just finesse it
my
that
man,
way.
my man was giving ass and titties out to these bitches.
Right. Hey, bro. I know you know a lot of people in the street. I know you taking it easy right now, bro. We need some stories, bro. Like, tell us you touching damn near 1 million, bro. I need to get like a craziest story or something. Like during this your peak
I'm not gonna
winning
lie,
streak.
right? I think I will say this: the easiest time and the best time was the P's, the PPPs.
What's the P's?
Wait, the P's or the
I'm
PPPs?
talking about the
Oh, the
PPPs.
Oh, the P's.
That's what
the
I was calling SBA young
PPPs.
boys.
Yeah,
like,
that shit. But I will say though, it's like if you was really getting to the bread before that and after that, you're gonna survive, right? I feel like a lot of people, even people that weren't really scamming, were doing that only because they bought the sauce or the method, but after that went broke, just because they wasn't really about that shit.
all right, so talk about that's the height that you've seen the
I mean-
underground really take off, right?
I mean, yeah, think about it, bro. You're getting 20 and then making another 20. Or if you really had a business,
Bro, it was giving
you were
hundreds.
doing
boy.
hundreds, 200, 300, 400, 500,000.
How?
Man, a lot of these people would just say that they I guess the biggest one that people were doing is a beauty salon. They had a beauty salon. That was like one of the biggest SBAs that they were doing.
What's crazy? Like, it's some shit that I know someone did, and his SBA. He was like, "Yeah, my God, I did my SBA. I got a 40 piece." He's like, "Man, that dude said I was a barber."
Yep. And that's what I'm talking about. Beauty salon. And the crazy part
That
is
shit's
you can go
crazy.
look that shit
It's
up.
crazy.
You can look up their name on the website or any website and it'll tell you if you put down their name in the state, they'll pop right up and what they did it for and if they got it forgiven.
But you're saying that you got so many different profiles. So people were combining the CPNs to get the PPP loans?
It's crazy. I didn't think this was gonna work, but I did get good off a few CPNs that I did. Like,
For the PPP.
yeah, and right, I didn't think it would work because when I was taught, they told me you can only do real people. When you do CPNs, you can only do the credit shit. You cannot buy a house. You don't really want to buy a car because that's iffy, right? You can't get any loans from the government, stuff like that. They were just like, stay away from anything like government or
But-
federal related.
So you couldn't buy a house and a good stuff, but you could rent a crib.
Correct.
Right. You could.
I know a lot of people still do that, like just to get into a building.
Right.
Maybe the building's not occupied that much, so some of the leasing agents are lenient or whatever. But then there's some stories on TikTok. I think they're making up these stories, by the way, just to go viral. Oh, I got arrested for using a CPN and blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, right. Like, but these are entertaining stories. But a lot of people, they might want to get, or they'll get like Airbnb units in the CPNs because they don't want those apartments in their personal name or whatever. But you know a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, so I have a few friends who are doing Airbnbs and CPNs, and the reason why they do that is because they don't want no financial attachment to it. If they ever want to dump it, leave it, or just say fuck it, they can. They can just drop it and not have to worry anything about it, right? They collected the bread, they're getting paid off it. The second it gets hot or if anything
Right.
happens,
Think
stuff
about it.
like that, they have nothing
Look at
attached.
this. Chicago is one of the. I'm gonna say one of the worst places. Could
It
be,
is
possibly.
saturated.
But no, like for like Airbnbs or this, then, the third, and it's like, cause I've been trying to shop for Airbnb
And what I learned,
and
Illinois is just
it's just
tough.
terrible. But let's just say, CPN get a little high rise downtown, Airbnb that bitch anyway till it blows, and then when they kick me out, see y'all later. Like run that shit again. I bought the floor downstairs, and I'm Joe Curly Bowley. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's also because right, a lot of these buildings you can't sublease. So
Yeah.
they don't know if you're subleasing. So if you do it under a CPN, you could Airbnb it and they won't know. I mean, unless someone goes on the site and sees it and they're like, oh
Yeah.
shit, right? They can report it to the building. But A lot of these people don't pay attention and shit. So what they'll do is they'll just go and do that. They'll rent it out anyways, make as much money as they can, and then boom,
Right.
that's it.
Right. Damn. Damn.
Sheesh. All right, for sure, man. I want to hear some like a crazy story, like, cause you said somebody in like, I don't know how deep you're still in the game or whatever, but you said the PPP that was at its peak, right? What's the
Correct.
lifestyle at this point? Cause you're not just in the crib like playing video
Man.
games. You traveling the world, or what you doing with all this money?
So
man?
I want to say that was my most funnest year. I'm not gonna lie. Went to the strip club, spent 30,000. Woke up the next day, got 30,000 back. It was ridiculous. It was insane. It was I was spending about 15 to 20,000 a month for 12 months straight.
Just on enjoying your life, like whatever your brain could think of, you were just doing.
Literally, I was buying everything. It was so nice to be able to shop without having thinking about the price. It was just like, that's what I want. All right, cool. I just went, boom, paid, done.
Are you
Trips.
using like a lot of personal bank accounts, or like, or you keeping money under the mattress, or like?
So you got to remember, right? I think the problem is with people is that people think they could just live off scamming and then that's it, right? And so those are the people that are afraid of moving money through personals or etc. and shit like that. Like that's where they get fucked over because it's like, bro, you don't make any income, so how the fuck are you getting this money,
Right.
right?
But with you probably structure a little bit more, you know what I'm
Correct.
saying? Make you good on this side. So you're so good on this side, they're not really looking over on this side.
Correct. So it just looks like natural income, right? When you got a business, you got an LLC, and it looks like work's happening, but work's not really happening because it's not that type of work that's happening. It's just like, who's the question? Right?
Right.
If on paper you're telling me you make 100,000, on your business, but on personal you're making 100,000 or 200,000, whatever, and they look at it and they're like, well, money's coming in and out,
Right?
it's
Why we
business-
tripping?
There's nothing.
Man, I want to see a CPN on payroll. You might as well just put that joint on payroll.
Oh,
They see
bro.
the ADP charges, something like that. Get it all the way right. Because imagine during the PPP era, they're asking you how many employees you had.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So if you had,
A whole bunch of and
whole
just
bunch
hitting
of joints,
ADPs real
you're
quick.
getting, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
I mean, I think the second biggest scam was during COVID was when you had a testing facility. That was the next biggest scam. I knew a lot of people who basically had labs, but also who had these COVID testing sites where basically, let's say you came in, and 5 other people. They would tell them, yeah, bring more people in, but they would keep your name and recycle it every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks or every 2 months, basically, they would just keep running your name in, running your name in.
He came in for a test again.
Correct, because the government was basically paying them per test.
Damn. Wait, what?
Yeah, man.
I know some people were becoming
What?
millionaires.
I
in
should
like
have did it.
2,
I
3
should have
months.
did it in my motherfucking garage. Come here.
Yeah,
You good?
It's
Cute
crazy.
tip in the nose.
Fuck is you talking about? What?
Yeah,
That's
that's
crazy.
one that I really wanted to get into, and I never really got into. That shit was, I'm not gonna lie, the craziest part about it was a lot of people that I met that were doing that, they were trying to get me involved, were like Middle Eastern and older Middle Eastern people.
Oh, they always got money. I every time I said I'm not trying to be racist, or nothing, but I don't think it could be racist because it's shit. Y'all got money, you know what I mean? Like motherfuckers just be having money, owning cars and handed down freaking castles and shit, bro. So
Yeah,
they be
I
about
never
it.
thought that shit. Like one of them approached me at work, and I guess they kind of got that feel. They're like, man, bro, you want to make some money? And I'm just like, what do you mean? And they're just like, man, I got this lucrative business off testing people for COVID tests. And they're like, bro, you can recycle your people. Just bring me people. I'll teach you.
How much you think they were making per COVID test? Like $20?
I don't know. It had to be something crazy because this man was talking about at least making over 100,000 a month or more. And he was recycling people's names.
Wow.
It was incredible.
Damn, he probably sitting up nice now.
I'm not gonna lie, I was thirsty, but there is some people that went down for that shit.
Really?
Yeah, there is
All
some
right,
people
so
that went
yeah,
down
let's
for
get
that.
into it. It's like you still outside, like Do you know any people that this just didn't work out for? Like,
Like, you know anybody that got like it got real ugly? Like, what's some
mean,
ugly shit?
it got ugly for me. It got ugly for me. I had a scare moment. I was right. I think this was more towards the mid of my career. Like I said, I was doing so much shit. I just felt invincible. Um, it was crazy. I already bought 3 cars from this dealership. Bought another one. Said fuck it, I'm gonna go back. I just got too cocky. My mentor, you know, he had this file, but man, I'm not gonna lie, it was the dumbest shit. I already knew the rights and the wrongs, but I just felt like fuck it, bro. Like I'm just doing everything so solid. I had an innie. I was like, I'm gonna be good. Person didn't look shit like me. Nothing, bro. Lid, nothing. It was sloppy as fuck, but I was just making so much bread. And I had a buyer who was about to give me 10 grand. I was like, fuck it, quick 10 grand. Just walk in 2 hours or an hour, be done with the dealer and make it. Cool, whatever. Uh, Walked into the dealership, did everything, nothing happened there. The finance manager was like, man, this shit looks kind of funny. You sure this is you? And I was just like, what do you mean, bro? It was wild. I was like, bro, you know, just tried to pull that card and be like, bro, what do you mean? And he was like, no, no, nothing, nothing. So he makes the deal go by. Then I get a call from the dealership. The dealership's like, hey, man, something happened with your paperwork. You know, we just need you to come sign something. And I already knew at that time what it was. I already knew they wanted me to come back and slap them cuffs on me. So I had a burner. You know, the innie, he was basically the one calling me back, and I told him, I was like, it's crazy, bro. Like, I know the reason we got here is probably because you said some shit. So I just told him, I'm not coming back, and the car's not coming back either. And I remember just taking the SIM card out the phone and the battery, cracking the phone in half, throwing it out the window, and cracking the SIM and throwing it out too. It was wicked, man. I'm not gonna lie. A year later, I got into a car accident, and come to find out, I had a warrant. So the innie fucking, I guess I don't know how. Basically, he got me the car. The dude that I sold the car to, it's crazy, dude. This dude, Kingpin, moves big weight. Told him everything. I was confused. I was like, so a dude that sells drugs, moves all types of shit, just sold me out.
God damn,
I
fuck
thought the
that
innie
guy.
would be the biggest dude, but it
the
was,
guy you sold the car to,
yeah.
he was just
And he forgot to tell him the part where he gave up some weight too. He told him, oh, I only paid him, but it was more than that.
wow. So he getting the car like a major discount. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Major discount.
How much was the car? Would you say worth? Retail.
So when they put it on there, they said that it was more than 100K.
Sheesh.
What the fuck car was it?
No, if you want to get into it.
Nah, man, that's
No, yeah. Yeah, the details.
Sheesh.
But
Sorry, I'm dead.
because it's like you're not even putting no money down.
No, actually, for that one, I just put $1,000 down. Right, I want to make it look as clean, as believable as possible.
Okay.
Damn, so credit was strong. All you needed
Credit
was a
was
little
strong.
stack.
Credit was strong. I could have did 0 down, but I was like, man, you know what? I also want to put like 1,500 down. You
And
know?
then somebody wants to buy that car cash,
Yep.
and then you got nothing to do with it. You just
Correct. So basically, what I did was I just acquired it, and I told them, hey, look, here's this. You know, you can continue paying for it if you want, or you can just do what you want. Right? There's people out here that'll clean the car up, and you will never have to pay for it and give you a
swap the
title
VINs,
for it. Correct.
facts.
Swap everything on it. He could have went that route or did everything, but I don't know how it happened. But basically, he got caught in the situation, and bro just sung.
Huh. So you got into the car accident. Was it your fault?
The car accident was my fault. I was texting and driving. It was crazy.
Fuck.
The crazy part is that I almost got off, bro. This dude was a new dude. He was a new cop. He didn't run me through warrants, and I was literally about to get off. And then at the last second, bro, and the crazy part to add to this, the juicy part was when I handed him the DL, I handed him the full DL. And then when I seen it, I snatched it out his hand. I said, "My bad, bro. It was expired. Let me give you the new one I just updated," and gave him the real one. And the crazy
Oh,
part is, I thought that he was gonna fucking like spaz,
like
bro.
what? Don't
But
do that.
I think, right, the fact that he was new and I snatched it out of his hand, like he
So
was so
fast he
in
couldn't.
shock. He was so in shock that didn't know what the fuck happened. I put the other one in his hand, passed it out. Here, my bad. I got in the car. I folded that lid and pinched it under the seat and pushed it so far beneath it that, like, if you went and looked for it in the car, right, you wouldn't find it. But yeah, I just pinched it in there.
He said, "Hold on."
I literally was like, gave it to him and snatched it and was like, and put it in his hand. And I was like, "I'm sorry," right? But I think that was just so off guard that they were just
So
like,
when you say you almost got away, what gives you the indication you almost got away?
"Man, he didn't run me through warrants." When he didn't run me through warrants, when he didn't run me through warrants, that shit was the craziest part. I was just like, because I knew I had one, but after when they did put me in handcuffs, I asked him. I was like, "What happened?" He's like, "Man," he's like, I forgot to run you through warrants, and you have one."
Mm.
So he was essentially, you're pulled over, he's charging you for the accident, just writing up a police report, switch insurances or whatever, and then he's about to let everybody go, but then he tells you to put your hands behind your back or whatever.
Man, bro, the crazy part is it wasn't even like that. Like he had to have been spooked, or I don't know what the fuck, how, but bro, I saw 7 squad cars fly by, right? It's me and him on scene, and 7 squad cars fly by, flying, choom. And I look, and I'm like, either a bad accident happened, or they're coming for me. And this happened in my work truck,
Sheesh.
so I'm just like, I can't go nowhere, bro.
Are you able to say the charge or no? You don't have
No, but I will say it was 14 counts. I was facing 14 counts.
Holy shit! Hey, that's
to. Are these misdemeanors or felonies?
Felonies.
Shit.
man. No, hey, we
This is
what?
an exclusive.
Man, what's another guy on the podcast that we recently had? Man, that man had what? Like I don't. He had so many counts. He was saying, bro. They
Oh,
had
maybe like 30 something. Yeah.
bro. He had so many different counts. Talking about they had their own operation for this man. Type shit.
crazy.
I was like, when you was talking on the podcast, I was like, what? I was like, if you see this person, you would not think
would
at
never
all.
guess.
You'd be like, what? Bro, this man, I'm gonna say after this, I'm gonna send you the podcast. I want you to watch it, bro. This man blew my mind on the shit he was saying and what he'd been through and everything. Like, it's still what you been through. A lot of counts, you been through crazy shit. Both of y'all, like, holy shit.
It was just crazy because, man, I'm not gonna lie. When I got to the station, they treated me like straight shit.
Really?
And I will say that, like, right, being somebody who was like, bro, if you went to jail, you could change your life, right? And then being on the other side of that, bro, is so hard. Like, until I went there and dealt with that shit, I didn't know how hard it was. And it's fucking hard. So, like, to the people who are on the dark side and then go clean after and have dealt with that and found success, it's like kudos to y'all because it is fucking difficult, right? And I mean, um, I'm doing well now, but man, fuck, I feel like I definitely got lucky because it could have been fucking worse. I could have been working in a factory or somewhere where I just can't even afford to live life or
Oh,
anything.
shit, locked up for life. Shit.
Yeah, that too. It was I was facing about like 35 years.
Yeah, I know your heart was racing.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie, when they said that, right, you think a lot of people would just sit there and be like, fuck it, I'm saying everything. But in my head I'm just like, right, it's almost like playing tag, right? We're all playing tag and I'm just the one that got caught. And that's how I looked at it. I'm just like, fuck it, I just gotta sit and it is what it is. But I will say, a lot of people that I was fucking with and doing all that shit with, because the dude that was slanging and trapping hard and super heavy in the game told on me, he was telling everybody that I was the one snitching, and I think he didn't know that we knew the same people. I think he didn't know that I was gonna get out. And when I got out, everyone just basically abandoned me, bro. I was damn near homeless, couldn't find my way to feed myself. It was fucked up. I
You
ended
have
up.
family?
I mean, I had family, right? But this was my shit, right? This is the shit that I made. This is the shithole that I was in. I didn't want to put them through it or have them to be there to be like, all right, cool, like we gotta clean your shit up.
So were they aware of your situation, or you sort of kept it low key somehow?
My pops was the only one that knew what was happening. I had, right, you gotta think about it. I had a lot of money stashed at his crib. You know, he didn't know, but I just basically called him and told him, hey, you know what? Like, yeah, I fucked up. I'm sorry I'm in a situation. I got money for bond. I need you to bring that for me. I will say this shit. He was there. He definitely pulled through, came through. You know, a lot of other motherfuckers probably would have just been like, fuck that, you're on your own. But he was there for me. He pulled up. Uh, it was fucked up because when I was supposed to get out, I had bond money on me, and then the cop that was arresting me and shit like that was the detective and stuff. He was being a bitch. He was just like, hey, you know what? We talked to the ADA. We added more charges. You're not gonna bond out. You got to go to court tomorrow. So I ended up going to court the next day. They ended up giving me an I bond, and I looked back at the cop while he was sitting there, and I fucking smiled at his stupid ass because it was like, bitch, you could have took my money. Now I'm basically getting off, paying no money, and now I'm gonna fight this shit.
Sheesh. So if you had to pay the bond, how much would that?
So the bond I was paying at the time was only 1,000. It was only a
Okay,
1,000.
but they gave you an I bond, which is like something.
Correct. You gotta also remember, right? I was somebody who's never had an issue. That's the only reason why it was that easy.
Oh, you didn't have no
I
prior
had no
records.
priors.
Was the lawyer expensive?
My lawyer cost me about 10 grand.
Sheesh. So you were facing 35. Lawyer cost 10 grand. Were you? So
So
you
it was
bonded out the next day, essentially. So
correct. So my lawyer was 10 grand, but I also had to pay him for every visit. Every time we went to court for 2 years, every month, once a month, that was $700 I was paying him.
okay,
So on top of the 10, I had to pay him 700 every month we
okay,
went.
but you didn't have to sit in jail.
No, I didn't.
Okay, okay.
He got
okay.
me basically what's called a second chance at life. Let me talk to you about this Synchrony jewelry card. And when you get approved, Synchrony jewelry card, you get approved, let me drop a gem, man. You feel me? You get approved. You walk into that Synchrony jewelry card, you know, that jewelry spot that, nah, fuck that. We going to the spots where they got the Rollies at and the Cardis and the Gucci's. You walk in there, as long as you got that card, you gotta make sure you approve before that though, man. If you got somewhere else where you can get approved and swipe a little bit and make it real good, I only say that because when you go to the spots where they sell the Rolex, if you're looking to get approved there, becomes a pain in the ass. They want two IDs, they want major credit cards, they want all types of second and third verifications. So if you go somewhere else and you do it clean, you just get something cheap where you can pay it off and put a nice deposit, right? You want to do something where, let's say you just spend a band, you put 500 down, you only owe 500, they're going to be like, oh yeah, cool, it's nothing. But you got to prove for 20, 30 grand. Then you go to the spot where they got the rollies. Yeah, I want to get that rollie. How are you paying? Oh, I'm already approved. Here's my card. Here's my black Synchrony jewelry card. You can swipe it. Got an ID? Yeah, look. ID card match. Swipe. Out the store. No problem.
Sheesh.
Walk
Hey,
out that
man,
bitch with a rollie.
Man, look, you guys work with a lot of people with credit. Best advice I could tell you guys to tell your clients is stop putting everything on the internet. Go. Discover has this program where they'll delete and scrub your personal information off the internet. I can't stress enough how important that is. These people will buy your credit report or buy your information on the internet, but they don't know the color of your car. They don't know a lot of your personal information. Where if it asks you, "Hey, you have a car, what color it is, and What's your phone number and stuff like that. If you remove all that information, it'll make it harder for them to pass these verification questions that would allow them access to getting these cards or approvals and stuff like that. So if you use,
So put a little extra lock on your credit.
I mean, the lock won't even work, bro.
No, not like extra security.
Correct,
You know,
correct, yeah. If you remove all this personal information and don't post pictures of your car and shit like that on the internet, yeah, you will thank yourself in the longer run for sure. Because right, if I see Juan Carlos, I bought his credit report, I know where he lives, I look him up on Facebook, and I'm getting asked, hey, what's the color of my SRT Scat Pack?
And he posted
And
it
he
like
posted
17
it like
times.
17 times. Oh, cool, bet, boom. I just put the color that I saw, boom, approved.
Wow.
Hell nah. So like you recommend just don't be posting everything on social media.
To be
That's
honest,
right.
if you can not have Facebook, great. Because I can go to Facebook, see what state you were in, born, who's your siblings, right? Because it'll ask you, hey, you know, who's your relative or this person's very close to you, select them. I just go to Facebook, boom, I see your sister is Carla, and on the application I'm seeing your relative or the close friend or whatever is Carla, then I already know, boom, Carla it is.
So you seen what the dark web looks like?
Yes.
What does it look like?
It just looks like your day-to-day regular internet. It's crazy. Yes, you have to use like Tor or other browsers to get to it, but bro, they have regular sites just like you. There's even a dark web for Facebook. Like there's a
What does
Facebook
that
dark
look
web.
like? What is
It
that? What is the
looks,
dark web for Facebook?
it just looks like your traditional Facebook page, just uncensored.
I need to know. Nah, get into the details,
Bro, it's
bro.
literally like
what are they
Facebook.
type of
It's
posts?
literally
What are they
white and blue.
posting? What are they posting on there though? What type of content are you seeing?
I mean, you could probably
Everything
I
that
mean,
you can't post on Facebook. Nudes, scams, fraud, drugs.
Sheesh,
imagine.
damn.
It literally makes me think of
Unfiltered.
like The Incredibles. You know that one part where they go into the secret part, and then now it's like a whole Comic-Con festival of just like criminals and shit. Like that's just what it is like.
Yeah. Oh.
So you still know how to access that?
Yeah, shit. I mean, honestly, I feel like it's more public now. Everyone can access it. Like I feel like a lot of people are aware of it.
And they're just doing transactions. Are they still doing all their transactions with crypto and all of that stuff, or what?
Correct. Everything is crypto related. Monero is the king of the darknet.
Sheesh, damn. Because I wouldn't even know where to start with that.
It's crazy how Trump just pardoned the CEO or the creator of Silk Road.
Yeah, I just heard about that
That
too.
was super mind blowing. Like I don't
But
know.
I'm
what
like,
the,
damn, it's kind of like, why would they give him 2 life sentences and 40 years just for creating something? Like it's like if like the person that invented the hammer got arrested. It's a tool, bro. Like that's bogus.
he just
what
made
they
like
doing.
an anonymous Amazon.
Right. And they're trying to make an example out of him. That's bogus.
I think it's
If you
because they
ask
try
me.
to just pin everything that everybody was doing on there on him because they found him.
Yeah, I think that's kind of messed up, but you know what I mean? It's one of those things. Don't hate the player. I mean, hate the game. You feel
I
me?
think it's
Like,
fucked up, but also I'm just confused as to like why did he care so much to pardon this man? Like what did
it's
this
the government. Like the government is like.
They want that. They want that power that he got. You know?
they just need
Nah, I feel like it was
I
the
feel like
right
they
thing for him to
profit off the
do.
dark.
I feel like it's like it's just wrong. I feel like wrong is wrong.
It was
You feel
wrong.
me?
It was wrong.
It was wrong.
It was
So I feel
heavier
like-
sentences than people that were actually selling drugs and shit like that.
Exactly. So I feel like that was the right move, in my personal opinion. Like, man, he got his life back. Cause I can see like, damn, like if I invent something and people use it, I can't control what everybody
bro,
uses it for.
But
Like,
a pardon is crazy. Like why not just reduce the sentence?
that's like you. Like I said, if you invented a knife, bro, people get stabbed every day. You're gonna go to jail for that? You think that's cool?
Yeah, but I'm saying like right, wrong is wrong, but he did
But
do wrong.
something you invented wasn't wrong. It was what it was used for.
But I mean, the man.
It's like they attacking the guy that made Telegram.
But it's
He's not in control of like what everybody else does, like with what he created. He just created something. That's like Mark Zuckerberg. Like they were trying to put him on the spot too. Like people are getting harassed and bullied because of your platform. Are you aware? He can't.
For
Bro,
sure,
there's a
but I just feel
billion
like his
people.
platform was more like what if I gave a man a gun and then filled up
There's
his head with like a bunch of hate and knew that the stuff that I was feeding this man was gonna probably give him the idea to murder somebody, right? Like that's how I look at it. Like, bro, you created this site that you knew
It was just
people were
nothing
gonna
but
use
pure
it.
evil and darkness on their
Correct.
dark web, where it's like people don't
Because if it
care
was just
for
a market
human
that he made
life.
for anything, why not just do it on the clear net?
no, because it's like uncensored, right? It's a
But
good
that's the
topic.
thing, uncensored. But it's
It's like pure freedom, and so
I
if
know, but
human nature
hold on.
rises,
Pure freedom. You gotta think about it. In the dark web, pure freedom. You're gonna have some people like that ready to purge. These motherfuckers waiting for the purge to come out. Like,
They're doing murder for hires on that site.
you see what I'm saying? Like, hey, I don't like this person. Hey, I'll kill him for you. Give me $100.
I'm just talking about the person that
Made it. I know,
made the
but
platform.
I'm saying like I can
he
understand
can't
it.
be blamed because he made something that now exists. Because there's
But no,
always the opposite
you
of
can
something.
because right now, like how Facebook, you could post certain things, but you can't post a hate or drugs, this and that. He made something that was so uncensored that death was even acceptable.
But is he to blame for other people's?
Of course, right, yeah, you can't blame for other
you
people's
can't
crimes,
blame
of
him
course
for
not.
that, but
But I think he has
it was what he
partial
did led to.
blame.
Yeah. You gotta have some because if you never made
This
a
is
website,
a good debate.
no,
right
think
here,
about it. Hold on,
like-
hold on. If you made it, if there's a website, you go on here, you die. If that website was never made, the person don't die, right?
Not necessarily.
No, literally, just because I'm saying because of this website, here's the dark web, and I don't like this person. He needs to die. Whoever wants to do it, go do it for me, and they do it. You know what I'm saying? But if that post can't be made, and that can't happen, the person will not die. There's no, there's no like, hey, go kill this person because it can't be posted.
People post stuff like that on Facebook all the time. I've literally seen a post.
Bro.
This girl leaked her baby daddy's address on some crazy shit, and that guy got.
I just
on
feel,
that
yeah,
block.
he's right, but I just feel like, right, just because it's where it was placed at, I feel like,
It's more likely to happen, but it's one channel. Just because the channel exists,
I mean, there's a ton of other markets, right? There's definitely a ton of other markets. You can go on the dark and you can buy, honestly, you can buy methods on how to get 100K or 30K loans. There's somebody right now on there who is saying, if you pay me 1,000, I'll get you a loan for 10,000.
I see that all the time though. That's like the fucking Cash App shit.
No, bro, this is legit. This is real. This dude, you pay him 1,000, he'll get you a loan. The only thing you have to do is to go get a bank account in their name, and the loan will drop tomorrow.
interesting.
You want to try?
Hey man, this is for entertainment purposes only. You know, I've always been curious because I don't know how to get away with this stuff, and apparently he didn't get away with this stuff. so
Your luck runs out eventually, man.
yeah, so this was like I said, it's entertaining to watch. You know, fast money, fast lifestyle, and all this. But honestly, if you just do it the right way, where you can fix your credit, you know, tap in where we can get your credit together. You can use that 800 score. We'll show you the legal infinite money glitch, right? You know,
Woo!
you can get benefits for paying your bills on time. It's cool. It's cool. But yeah, this is round one because I feel like we still got some more stories and all of that we're gonna get into in the future. But this was interesting, would you say? Like, you know?
This was crazy. I knew some things I didn't know, and I know that hey, you can be getting millions, but when you're doing it in the dark way, your luck can't run out. You know that's why when they say, you know, the rich people, corporate America, play by the corporate America rules. You play by the actual set of rules that are placed. How could you fail? How could you lose
I mean,
in a sense?
I know we're getting to the closing. I'll just say it's crazy. I feel like a lot of rich people, a lot of wealthy, or people that are on the upper ends do this. They might not do it as much, but they're definitely getting away with it. I feel like that's a lot of the places where a lot of the people on the lower end or the struggling people kind of learn these methods and stuff like that from.
People on the edge.
Yeah,
yeah.
literally.
Hey man, that's it for now, y'all. Man, you always gonna learn something every episode you tap in. So, like, subscribe to the episode. We do have a way for y'all to get that 800 credit score, get some real business funding, start your LLC so you can do things on the legal side. You can still chase your dreams, and you don't have to go to the dark web.
Right, you can still get the cars you want. You can still buy the crib, the jewelry, the ice, the girls, whatever the fuck you want. You can still get it. You could get it both ways. It just honestly depends on the way you want to get it. The way we doing it is the legal way, the right way, and obviously you see the results and see the stuff that we drive and the things that we wear or the things that we do. So obviously doing it the legal way works just like
Definitely.
the dark way.
All right, for sure, for sure. Well, you already know where you can follow us at. I'm Delete King 50 on IG.
Yes, sir. Delete King CBO.
And trick question, where can we?
You
Man,
can't find his ass. He's on the
can't
dark web.
find me, but on the dark, you might not. You know,
But
this
he
might
can
be the
find
last
you.
of
You
it.
can't find him, but he can find you.
Can't find me, I could definitely find you, and it only costs $12.
Oh man.
We're gonna talk about how you can find people on the dark web on the next episode.
For
Not
sure.
the next episode, but then when we bring him back on,
Yeah.
Well,
leave
come
a
on.
comment down below if you want us to bring him back on the next one. You know what I mean? So hey, like,
Hey.
subscribe, tune in, all that good stuff. Have a blessed evening, day,
Yes,
good
sir.
morning, with all that good stuff. Peace.
Peace.